Just got back home and I went to the drop-off bin and I got a couple submersible pumps there, microwave, and a computer laptop. We got here an HP Pavilion laptop. Looks pretty nice. I got this IBM keyboard, which looks promising. Sounds clickety click. That. So in this bag here was a whole bunch of stuff, including that laptop and a whole bunch of wiring. This phone is kind of neat looking. It's like on an angle. And a couple of cell phones. Samsung Galaxy 3. How does that come off? That's just a little cover, that's all. Looks like it has a cracked screen. Now, something else that was pretty cool in that bag were these two watches. Now this one here it's called a Mercury. Never really heard of it. It looks pretty nice. Looks very vintage. And this one here is a Timex. And it's pretty nice too. Looks like there's a lot of corrosion coming out the back there. So I'll have to take a look at that. But regardless, they're probably two nice watches there, and some nice electronics. And oh, there's something in this bag too I haven't looked at yet. It's just a paper shredder. Alright, so that's it for that. Alright. Hello, Ocelot. This is an old phone that I just got from my drop-off bin. And inside these phones, a lot of these old phones have lead. So right there is a little chunk of lead. You can tell it's lead right away just by the weight of it. But you can also dig in, you know, it's really, really malleable. You can dig right into it. There's another piece right there. Kind of glued on, but had a couple of screws holding it in place. But you can also just pry it out. There you go. So yeah, I noticed a lot of these old phones have lead weights inside of them. So I'm going to open up this side. I think there might be a piece in there as well. Let's just open it up and see if there's anything in there. Okay. Oh, looks like you can also just bang it if you want. It's being a little bit stubborn here. Maybe it has a screw holding it together, but I'm just gonna rip it. Yeah, there's a little screw right there. Alright, and there might not be anything on this side. No, there's nothing in there. Oh, is that piece? Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's another piece right there. Let's see. That's when you know it's lead. You can just easily move it around. There you go. So, just so you know, there is lead weights inside of these old phones. This one, not sure what the date when that would have been, what year that was from, but it's made in Taiwan. Yeah, well, there's another one right there. Cool. So, add that to my collection. Got a good collection going on here. Down there. One more thing. It's a bit windy, guys. Sorry about that if it's affecting the sound. But just wanted to do a quick shout out to a friend, Tim, aka Ryan Miller. Met up with him again today, and he's a YouTube subscriber. He reached out to me and he said that he has a lot of furnaces that parts that he can get for me, and he's been asking me a lot of questions about scrap, expanding his knowledge about scrapping, and he's a really great guy. So Tim, thanks so much, brother, but for hooking me up. He gave me all these parts. So a whole bunch of switches down there. There's 6 or 7 of these inducer motors and these boards. More down there. So it's all about helping each other out, guys. You know, I find a lot of people just want to help out, help each other out. It's really good. I've noticed that in the last little while. You know, people just want to help out without, you know, having to write a check. You know, if they have something that someone else needs or someone else can use, you know, they're more than happy to give it to someone else that can use it. That's what I've been finding lately. You know, for example, I went to the nursing home that I picked up a whole bunch of stuff from, and the guy that was there, I mentioned that I had a chicken coop and that some of the things that I was taking from him would be good for my chicken coop. And then that got him thinking, like, oh, really? Well, how about this and this? And he started like mentioning all this stuff that he could give me that would help me out for that. So, you know, people like to do that rather than just giving out cash. You know, people, that's a bit different. You know, I like to give myself if someone needs something, but as far as like giving someone actual physical money, it doesn't have the same effect. Oh, look, there's another piece of lead in there. All right. Wow, this phone has a lot. It's kind of funny, you know, like with all the, you know, whenever even with my wife, you know, I said, oh, look, I found a whole bunch of lead. She like cringes, you know, because lead has a bad name of, you know, poisoning people. And especially like lead paint and lead getting into drinking water, heavy metals, poisoning the body, that sort of thing. So to think that this phone had a lot of lead, and you know, you hold that right up to your face and it's right there, right behind this plastic. But yeah, it's not harmful really at this point, unless you were to sand it and create it into a fine mist or try and eat it. Yeah, but I think they've stopped using heavy metal like this just because it's more expensive. You know, nowadays they just use for counterweights. You see them in the bottom of lamps all the time. It's like a plaster that they use now. It's not, or a concrete. Anyways, I'm gonna get that last piece and fiddle around with some more stuff out here. I'm gonna try and clean this up. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to take my air hose and spray it, get all the dust out of this thing. I'm wondering about these keys. They don't look like they belong. Yeah. Here's the other side of that keyboard. Looks like it has its own speaker. It's kind of neat. There's the date stamp right there, 1993 from IBM, or yeah, date 1993, copyright 1984, made in the USA. Next thing I'm doing today, guys, is taking apart all these computers. A lot of them are going to be scrap. You know, like this one's missing the CPU, it's missing the RAM, hard drive. But the only thing I'm going to do is take off the motherboard and the heat sinks, because those are usually copper or aluminum. And I will take off, sometimes they'll have a floppy drive, and I'll take those out as well. And yeah, I just cut the cables on the power supplies, I leave the CD-ROMs in there. I leave the power supply in. Yeah, and then you take the motherboard out. To make a motherboard clean, you have to take off any big heat sinks like this. You have to take off the battery. And that's the main things. Sometimes you'll get some motherboards, well, like a slot drive, I believe it is. Slot drive PCU, and it has like a lot of plastic. A lot of times they want you to take off those as well. Yeah, so I got a lot to go through. So what I have here is a computer monitor plugged in, ready to go. So I'm just plugging in the computers, and just to see if I can get them booted up to the BIOS screen, and that way I can tell if the motherboard is good or not, and then I can sell the motherboard. So that's a plan. Stuff like this is all unplugged. You know, I won't bother with this one, but I have a lot of them here. Whole big stack, and some very vintage ones too. There's one here I'm really looking forward to breaking open, is this guy. It's really big and tall. And I'm also looking for a computer for my son. He needs a computer. So if I find one that has a hard drive and it still works, I'm going to keep it. So anyways, I'm going to scrap out these computers and I'll show you guys what's left over after. This is an example of one that I was able to get booted up. It's a slot card CPU. Pretty old. What's going on here? Okay, I must have escaped. I guess I got past. I'll restart it again. I'll show you what I did. So once you first start it up, it's going to come to a screen, and this one says delete to get into the BIOS menu. So press delete to enter setup. Okay, so it brings you to this screen, and you can just go through and kind of check it out, see how it's working. So this time, date, hard disk type. So you can kind of just go through and check everything. Just kind of look at the board itself, see if I see any busted capacitors. You know, if you ever see capacitors that have a rounded cap, then those capacitors have gone bad. So I go through, look at it like this, and fiddle around with the BIOS, make sure it's okay, and it's good to sell. Good for me to sell. And so I'll just list this power. I'll list the motherboard on eBay, and along maybe some of these cards as well. Cards aren't as good, I have found, especially like you have the modem, sound card, and I think that's another, maybe like a fax machine card, I don't know. And then that's the video card. Video card's pretty basic, but I'd like to sell the motherboard by itself, and then the hard drive. And I keep that's the floppy drive. I'm saving up those. Power supply, you can do that too. I just find that they're always very dusty and dirty, so you have to really clean it out. And some of these basic ones, like this is just it doesn't have the SATA connections. It's pretty old and basic. They don't do so well, not so much, but you can give it a go if you want to try and sell that too. CD-ROM drives, never sell those. I've never sold any of those, and that's about it. Okay. You can also, if you ever find a good case, you can sell the case by itself. This one's pretty rusted up. Not going to bother. It's just scrap. So yeah, I'm just going to take out the motherboard and sell it with the CPU and the RAM in one package. Didn't realize this, but you can change the language by pressing F9. There's English. I think that's German. And Mandarin. So back. I guess another thing I want to recommend is you should find on one of these screens. You can find out like more of the details, like serial numbers and part numbers and stuff. So you'd want to write down that, and Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now. Chipset features, not sure. On this motherboard, here's an example of something that the recyclers would want you to take off. This plastic bracket here that holds the heatsink and onto the CPU, they'd want you to take that off. It's really easy. Just grab a little flat set screwdriver and just kind of twist it off there, and it'll just come right off. Sometimes you'll get different types that are harder to take off. That's it. So that's a clean board. The other thing I did was I took the battery off, and there was a big heatsink right here that I took off. Alright guys, next day I'm working away still. This is my last computer I have. It's all plugged in. It's booting up to Windows XP right now. And it's a nice little motherboard in there. Looks like it's working fine. Has a hard drive and everything. Cool. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I did all this last night, and I did a couple this morning. This is all of the scrap. This is all the cases. This one was really big. I'll show you the motherboard from that one in a second. This really nice old motherboard from 1994 that I'm going to try and sell. And some cases there. These are all the heat sinks and some fans. You can sell those as electric motors. You can sell them online too. You can't sell them for very much though. This one here came off a video card from a Mac that I took apart. Heavy blocks there. That one has copper in the middle. And there's two of these, and I took apart this Mac that I had. There it is there. It's all aluminum case. Crazy machine. And this is the motherboard from it. And these things are just not serviceable at all. So it had these two big heat sinks sitting there on top of two CPUs. You see there, these were riveted onto the case. Yeah, when these 4 holes, these 8 holes here, the CPUs were actually riveted onto the case itself. So I had to pry them off to take it all apart. It's crazy. I've never seen that. I don't know Macintosh computers at all, but yeah. So this is all aluminum. This is steel plate there with aluminum, and there's the power supply. That doesn't come out at all. It's like built into the computer, all in one piece. Pretty neat design, but it's just not serviceable at all. You can't customize it. You can't fix it. Weird. So this is a pile of motherboards that I have. Most of them are, the newer types, but there's a couple older ones down here. These ones are all scrap. Yeah, like that one there has the old ceramic CPU slot. And these are all the PCI cards. Those were from the Mac. That is, I forget which one. There was one here that had the video card. Anyways, video card from the Mac. Oh well. Yeah, so all these will be sold as PCI cards, and they're you get a good price for these because of the gold fingers on the bottom. There's a recycler that I bring all of my boards to, and still trying to find another one that's better. That's aluminum power supply. It was making a bad sound, so I couldn't sell it, so I just scrapped it. But it's all aluminum, and so I'm going to put that in as dirty aluminum. Big pile of wire that I have to clean off. I have to cut off all of these plug ends to make it clean wire. And what else did I get? This one power supply. I'm going to try and sell that one because it's a bit of a different shape. Someone might want that. These are the only CPUs that I have for scrap. Not much there. That one has the pins. It's that one, and then there's this Intel. What was that one? Forget the name of that one there, but I think it was like a 456 Pentium, and a little bit of scrap RAM. these hard drives, they worked. So what I do with hard drives is I hook them up onto my computer and I format them, and then I also have some software that you can check to see if there's any bad sectors, anything bad about them. It tells you the heat and everything, and then once it shows that everything's all good, I sell them, and people do buy them. They buy them for replacement parts, you know, if they're doing some hard drive surgery, these old ones, or if they're a collector, you know, they're trying to bring an old system back to life, whatever. So yeah, I do notice that they sell. I'm collecting all the floppies for now, and I may just sell them in a big lot eventually. Oh yeah, so I have all the motherboards up in here. So up here there's 3 motherboards that I've taken out of the computers. So this is what I do. I just kind of write some information, like the type of CPU it has, and then after that I just look up there's usually some part numbers on these things that you can look them up online, and then I list them. And almost tripped. I do very well with motherboards. Matter of fact, I don't have every single motherboard I've ever posted on eBay has been sold. Every time I list motherboards, they always sell for some reason. I don't really know the type of person that would buy old motherboards, you know, for working motherboards, but they do sell. So I'm going to keep listing them. This one here I'm kind of interested about. It's from a Gateway 2000 computer. It's from 1994, and it has a bad battery here. So that's the battery right there. So they have to replace that. That's also keeps track of the clock and everything. That's the only thing that I noticed about this. Yeah, so I'm going to see how much I can sell that one for. I'm kind of excited to see how much it will come, how much I can sell it for. And then there's just a bunch of older, you know, more generic ones that we see nowadays. So yeah, that's what I like to do. I include the RAM whenever I can, because I can't get too much money for RAM for scrap. So I just end up including it with the motherboard just to make it more appealing. Got a nice haul today. A lot of steel up here. That is a oil burning hot water tank. There's a furnace there. All of my computer towers are down inside of there, and a microwave, barbecue. There's a big oil furnace. That guy right there is a big giant oil furnace. So it's really packed to the max right now. Well, probably not to the max. I've seen some scrappers, you know, they just go vertical, up and up and up. I don't do that too much. I just go and, you know, cram it in as much as I can so that nothing's going to blow away. And then I hit the road. It's just like that. So I'm going to go now and bring this to the scrap yard. I have to go to the post office. At my drop-off bin, there is a trailer at my drop-off bin, and I saw that this trailer had a blown-out tire. It was on the main road, and so I guess someone had brought it. I think that's gonna blow away. Someone brought it from the main road and to my drop-off bin area, and the property manager said, "Well, give it a week, and if no one's come to pick it up, I want you to take it." So it's been almost a week, and they're saying that they want me to take it. So I don't know what I should do. I don't feel like it's been long enough. You know, if the person wants to get a replacement tire, he should give them to. It's not even the weekend yet, so I feel like we should wait a little bit longer and see what kind of tire I may need to buy for this trailer for me to take it away. But like I said, I want to wait a few more days, see if the owner comes back for it. I'll show it to you guys in a second here. Hey guys, it's pretty windy out. I have some pretty good aluminum here. Pretty sure that's aluminum. Nice, so I'll load that up. A little bit of steel, the parts here, and the printer, and the light. Yes, let's go check out this trailer. It's been sitting here for over a week. It's Very nice. It's pretty rusted up. Yeah. Well, looks like that tire is gone. Whole rim and everything. I don't know. Oh my gosh, yeah. That thing is just done. What the heck am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, that whole tire, like, it looks like the whole thing is just cracked right off. Like the hub and everything. That's broken. There's nothing I can do with this. We just arrived at one of our favorite exploration spots.
Hi.
It's an old abandoned quarry.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go check it out this time of year. It should be fun. Lots of fun things for the kids to climb while we're here. And there's a sign there. And I can't quite see what it says, but I believe it says have fun exploring our abandoned quarry.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it says. It's a prickly. A prickly got me, Daddy. I'm down.
You got hurt by prickly? How deep is it?
Water off the GoPro.
Wow, look, you can see it. It's like a waterfall down in there. It's like it's a drainage for something. Yeah, don't drop the GoPro down there.
Dave. I'm too afraid.
Yeah, it's pretty scary looking.
Whoa, it's like the sewers.
Yeah, it's like the sewers.
Rocky!
Whoa. Pretty rough to walk over this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's some sort of old concrete factory or something. Wow, so big.
What's this?
Like a big hamster wheel.
Go!
Go.
Please, someone! Help me! Help! Help! Help, Daddy! Help me!
Okay. The kids love going through these tubes and pretending like they're Mario Brothers.
Look! Oh! Yeah, what's up? I'm going in!
You're going in?
Good luck! I'm gonna go and do.
Doop.
Even Dad could probably fit in there. So
Yeah, I
fun.
probably could, but
No, let's play on spiders. Oh my god.
there's no spiders this time of year.
Nah.
And no wasp nest either.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I know it'd be like a ton of wasp nests.
Just keep going, okay? Oh.